Hi everybody, this is Abby with Scrappin' Abby, and I'm back with another design team project. This one is for Linnie Blooms. This is going to be for the month of July, and the theme for this month's challenge is going to be patriotism. So I'm up first for the month for the challenge, so I'm going to be creating a really fun project to share with all of you guys. So what I'm going to be doing is incorporating a couple of the different canvas pieces from Linnie Blooms. The one I know for sure I'm going to be using is this large canvas flower. I'm going to be altering this a little bit, and it's going to be really cute when it turns out. At least it is in my mind. Another piece I might be incorporating, I have a couple of the butterfly canvas pieces from the Flutter collection. I have a larger one and then a smaller one right here. So I'll be using those for sure on the project. And then what I'm going to be doing is altering this Graphic 45 tag. It's actually a packaging, and I'm going to be covering the front and back and then incorporating the Linnie Bloom pieces onto the project. So some of the stamps, just a random mixture I pulled from my stash of stamps, some stars, and then I have the 4th of July, and then I have from this kind of variety package of stamps, I have some different swirls and things that kind of resemble like fireworks going up in the air. And then I might incorporate some of the banner pieces possibly. I'm not sure yet exactly what all components, maybe the finger. I think that's kind of cool, that little hand pointing. That's kind of fun. And then some of the different ribbons I'll be using. I'm not going to be incorporating the white. I'm going to be going more with the reds and the blues. And then as far as the, the third color, more of this kind of here. It's kind of like more of a beigey vintage. And that's kind of really more the palette and the theme I'm going for. Not so much the traditional red, white, and blue, but more of the red kind of vintage white, antique white, and then the blue, of course. So those are the ribbons I'll be pulling from and incorporating some of this jute twine as well. I think it kind of ties in that vintage vibe. And then I have some stickles, Christmas red, because you got to have that for 4th of July, right? And then I'm going to be pulling from the paper collection from Tim Holtz. This is the, there we go, seasonal paper stack, or paper pad. And I'm going to be using the 4th of July one. I thought I had one open and ready, but let me just show you really quickly kind of the color palette I'm looking for here. Let me grab that one I just had open. Sorry, you guys. Like this is just an example. Off of here you can kind of see this is like the 4th of July one, and it's kind of the colors in it here, the fireworks and everything, and that's kind of the color palette I'm going for. So this project is going to be up on the Linnie Blooms blog this coming Wednesday, July 2nd. I'll also have it on my blog as well, and this is going to be a photo step out tutorial on the blog. So I'll have some pictures of how I'm altering these canvas pieces and incorporating them onto the tag to share with all of you guys. So I'm going to go ahead and get started, and if I remember, I'll turn the camera back on when I do some of the work with this. If not, I'll at least have the photos and you guys can check those out on the blog. So I'll see you in just a little bit. Okay, so I wanted to share with you really quickly on camera how I'm going to be altering. This is the large flower piece from Linnie Blooms, and the stencil I'm going to be using is from the Crafters Workshop, and I'm going to be using this pattern right here. And the purpose behind this one is because I wanted to kind of mimic the lines and in the stripes in the flags. I thought it would be kind of a fun different twist on that instead of having just the straight on stripes. So I'm going to place this over my flower piece here. And then for the spray, I'm using from Tattered Angels, the Glimmer Mist. This is the Santa Baby, because I really wanted to have a nice deep red. So I'm going to just do a test spray here real quick on the side, and I'm going to go ahead and just spray. And this is going to go over my fingers. That's just usually what it does, but anyway, I just kind of want to get that on there. So I'll hold this like this and just kind of spray. It's almost empty, so it's when it's at an angle, it doesn't really work the greatest anymore. Pick it up, and then you can see I've got the lines right there. So I'm going to go ahead and move on down. And I don't even care if these match up or not, because this is just kind of an eclectic, look I'm going for here, so it doesn't have to be perfect by any means. And we'll pull it up, and then on the sides here you can see I've got a little bit that aren't covered yet, so not a big deal. So I'm just going to hold this over, and then I'll just spray. And again, I don't care if the lines don't match. And then I got the stripes over there, and then I'm going to do that on this side as well, over here like that, and just spray again. And pick this up, and then I'll just use my heat tool to dry this, and then so there's my little stripe piece, and then I'll go around the edges with some blue and just kind of mix it up a little bit. And then even though I have some of the lines have kind of ran together a little bit, that's fine with me too, because it kind of goes with that vintage look that I'm going for. And I'll show you really quickly. I already have the tag covered. It's started anyway, and I'll show you kind of the vintage look, and now it's going to match just fine. Grab it here real quick. So this is the tag. I've already have it covered. So you can tell, you know, it's not perfect either. The paper, it's meant to be distressed. And so I kind of like that look. So that's how I'm going to leave that flower, let it dry. I'll add a few more pieces or embellishment around the edges of the flower with some of the blue spray or maybe some ink on there. Some distress ink. And then I'll show you guys what this looks like, what it looks like when it's all dry. See you in just a little bit. Okay, so now that my flower piece has dried from the red spray that I did, I went ahead and started around the edges, and I'm using one of my distress markers in the Chip Sapphire. This is a really nice deep blue that's going to go really well with the color tones in the paper on the tag. So all I'm doing is going around the edges like this. I'll show you guys. I'm not trying to be too perfect or anything. I'm just kind of laying it on its side and just kind of brushing along, and it's really picking up on the frayed edges of the flower piece, which I think is really cool because it really just adds to that vintage kind of distressed shabby look that I really like. And so this is going to be really cool because I'm going to be using this as a flower element, obviously, but I'm not going to lay it flat on the tag. I'm going to kind of curl this up a little bit, and then that way the edges are really going to pop, and it's going to have that nice accent of this really pretty deep blue color. And I can even grab this and fold this in half, and then kind of get the back side, so whenever the flower is kind of flipped up, it's you know, shows up. Or I can even just lay it down flat and do it that way too, whichever way you prefer. And just kind of go along the edges like this. That way when the flower is, you know, has a little bit of dimension and curl to it, then if the back side shows, it's not going to be just the naked piece of the canvas of the canvas flower, which is actually okay if some of it does, because as I mentioned in the first part of the video, I wasn't going to be using the stark bright white. I'm going more of that vintage kind of you know, I don't know what you really want to call it, kind of a beigey cream, kind of an antique white is kind of look I'm going for. And this you know, not being too careful with it because the back side is not going to show. This is just in case some of the edges show up on the other side. So go ahead and put the cap on. So that's what this looks like. I'm going to let this dry before I mess with too much, because I'm going to you know, maybe add a little bit darker blue to the edges with some of my actual distress pads instead of the marker. So that's what it looks like. And then I'm going to, you know, get it wet once it's dry, and I have to make sure this is completely dry because these are water-based markers, and then the spray is already set, but I want to make sure the marker is dry because I don't want the blue to bleed into the flower part of this. I don't want that. I want it to stay really on the edge. And then once it's wet, I'll kind of crinkle it a little bit, and then I'm going to dry it so it kind of has a little bit of shape to it, and then I'll stick something in the center. So I will be back when I have another portion of the tag ready to show, do a tutorial, or just when I get it completed. So I'll see you guys in just a little bit. Okay, so I couldn't do this part on camera because I needed both of my hands to do this, but all I did was took the flower and I just sprayed just some water on my craft mat, and then I just crinkled it up a little bit, and then I held it with this little, just kind of a pinch. I didn't really do any kind of a, you know, certain style or anything, and then I just used my tweezers to hold the shape that I liked. I don't know if I can recreate it or not now, but let me try here. And then I just use my tweezers like this, and I have my heat tool, and I just dried this, and so that's why I wasn't able to turn the camera on, so I apologize for that. But this is the flower, and you can see it's all stiff, and I love it, and this is going to be really cute. I may not add anything. I might shove a few stamens down there if I can get them in the hole there enough. If not, I'll probably just leave it, or maybe put a little piece of bling or something in the center. But I think this turned out really super cute. It's really kind of distressed and kind of shabby looking, and I think it's going to go really well on the tag once I get this, all the components put together. So I'm going to go ahead and finish the tag, and I'll show you guys the completed project. Oops, sorry about that. Didn't mean to make the camera all fuzzy. And I'll show you the completed project as soon as I'm done. See you in just a little bit. And here it is, my completed vintage kind of mixed media tag, and I think it turned out pretty doggone cute, if I do say so myself. This was lots of fun to add some different textures and elements and layers to, and I really think that this canvas flower from Linnie Blooms just really pops off of this tag, and I just think it's really, really cute, and I'm excited to use it this week for 4th of July for some decor. You know, we're getting together with a bunch of friends, and it's just gonna be kind of fun, so I'll definitely be using this out and about, you know, for the table decoration. And the really cool thing about this also is that I can use this in my scrapbook page for the 4th of July photos. It's not too super chunky thick. I mean, it is kind of, but since this is canvas and this is, you know, basically paper, it can kind of smash down a little bit. But I can also put this in a 12 by 12 shadow box if I want, and then change it out as, you know, the months go along. So it's really cool. So let me share with you a couple things that I added to this tag that I didn't show in the first part of the video. A couple things I might repeat, and I apologize for that. For the inks, I used this stack of different Tim Holtz Distress inks, and I used Festive Berries, Freight Burlap, and some Vintage Photo, because it has that really nice kind of orange tint to it, and then some of the Broken China. And on the canvas flower itself, as I shared in the tutorial portion, I used the Chipped Sapphire Distress Marker from Tim Holtz. I believe I shared this. I used the Santa Baby for the spray, and the mask I used for that was the Crafter's Workshop, and it was this pattern right here. Little stripe pattern. The only stamps I end up using out of all the ones I shared with you is just the Celebrate the 4th of July, and then this little stamp, star one from Stampin' Up. And then for the flower, I just used one of these from Hobby Lobby Spare Parts. And then the ribbons I pulled from, in addition to the jute twine, or just these 2 packs of really reasonable ribbon, because it has the vintage colors for the 4th of July that I was going for. And then I used a combination of a couple different stickles, the Christmas red and then the crystal. And I believe that's everything, with the exception of I did add some of these pearl sprays in there too. So how I wanted to kind of really make the canvas flower from Linnie Blooms kind of the focus, and I really feel that it is. So I just left this, I didn't ink this up too much. I just used a little bit of the creme brulee cream from Linnie Stamp King. Just gave it a nice kind of gold shimmer a little bit. So I really wanted this to be the pop off of the page, and I just added some different ribbons and trims along the back side, added some of the pearl spray, added put some in the center to kind of make, mimic stamens. And then I stamped that onto this piece of this fabric I was telling you guys about. Added some stickles to make the July kind of pop. Here you can kind of see, like up in the corner, and then kind of on the side, I did the stamps with the stars, and I only used the what I say it was the crystal stickles on the top part, or excuse me, the top and the bottom part of the tag. And then these are just a couple of little cutouts from the paper pack from Tim Holtz, which is what I used to cover the entire tag, and then also the back side. And this again is an altered tag from Graphic 45. It's from some of their packaging. And then I just added some stickles around the top too. Topped it off with some more different variety of ribbons and trims from the Really Reasonable ribbon. And here you can see some of that jute in there as well, kind of tucked in a couple different places. And I have another one of the cutouts from the paper collection. I kind of waved this one a little bit, kind of mimic the motion of the flag. So I think this turned out really super cute. It was fun to do. I think the longest part of the whole process was just waiting for the stickles to dry, but I put that on overnight, so it had some time to really set. And then of course wrap some more of that jute twine around the card here, just to kind of give it a little bit more of that rustic kind of vintage 4th of July feel. So, and I just think that flower from Linnie Blooms turned out really stinking cute. I liked it a lot. I think it's super cute, and that's where I used the blue. The Chipped Sapphire was on that. So anyway, this will be up on the Linnie Blooms blog this coming Wednesday, July 2nd, and it's for the month-long challenge, Patriotism. My girl Scrap Madge is up on the blog on Tuesday, July 1st, so I'm excited to see her project as well. And then on the Linnie Blooms blog, you're going to see a couple step out photos of me, the different process of me doing this, in addition to the small snippet of tutorial I have in the video that you saw previously to this last part of the video. So be sure to head on over to the Linnie Blooms blog and leave us some comments. Everybody likes a little bit of blog love for sure. And then also you want to head to the Linnie Blooms store and then pick up some of the fabulous canvas pieces. This is just an example of what you can do to alter them. And my other design team sisters on Linnie Blooms, they do a fabulous job of altering these and incorporating these in really fun ways. So it's just a lot of fun over there. So be sure to go check it out. And if you guys have any questions, as always, please feel free to leave me a comment, or you can email me at scrapandabby@gmail.com. Thanks guys, happy crafting, and have a happy 4th of July if you don't watch another Scrap and Abby video between now and then. See you guys later.